Hello again. Good afternoon, everyone. It is still Monday, June 14, 2021, and it's President Trump's birthday. So happy birthday, President Trump, the greatest president in U.S. history. I think. That's my opinion, my humble opinion. You know, who else do you know that would have taken that kind of abuse and attacks continuously for that long and not just turn tail and say, forget you guys, you ain't even worth it. That's why God allowed all this to happen, because we all need to take note of life and our nation and our children's future and our grandchildren's future. We need to be more vigilant. We need to be like watchmen on the wall, watching out for our nation, for our world, for our family, for our neighbors. We just did a show and we featured, it was a Watchman party, and we had Julie Green Ministries, which is my sister. I love her, and our brother Out of the Darkness. And I would also now like to share some other favorites of ours that we like to keep up with. In particular, I'm going to share BCP, which is open source news, Black conservative patriot. And it's good news. The current regime is being actively and successfully opposed. Here are 3 quick examples. Okay, so the link to his YouTube is in our description, and he has 2 YouTubes, so you can look them both up there. And he also has a Patreon page. So in the Patreon page, which we're a member of, a VIP member, because we like to hear as much truth as we can everywhere we can hear it, it's more uncensored and unfiltered. Unfortunately, on this platform, we have to be careful about what we say. But on that platform, you don't. And there are several people on that platform as well, as Rumble and now Odyssey, which we're just getting to know. We started a channel there. Everywhere you can find us in inTruthNews, and also on our website, inTruthNews.com. And here is the Black conservative patriot.
Host BCP, I hope you're having a great weekend so far, folks. If you like this video, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button as well. And if you have something to say, put it down below. Your interaction and your engagement with this video helps us with the YouTube algorithm.
Hi, Pez.
Happy to report that things are a little bit better. We had about 85% of our last few videos that were seen, or I always say this backwards. The last video was seen 85% subscribers, 15% or thereabouts non-subscribers. That's a lot better than 96, which means that this algorithm on YouTube is starting to share our content with people who aren't already plugged in. So we're having some progress here. Far away from when we were growing like gangbusters, but we'll take any win we can get. And folks, that's what I want to talk about some wins here. I want to talk about some wins. By the way, folks, do not forget that we do have a second YouTube channel, the BCP Report. The link is in the description down below, as well as a new daily show that is not on this platform, where we can touch on subjects that aren't allowed here, and you can access that at bcpextras.com. I want to play this for you if you missed this huge announcement. This is the governor of Texas, Greg Abbott.
I will announce next week the plan for the state of Texas to begin building the border wall in the state of Texas.
All right, we're going to get into that of Greg Abbott in a second. But folks, we have a failed regime of the former vice president and the former senator. And their policies are bad. Their edicts are unconstitutional. And they are doing things to absolutely destroy America, forget the rule of law, forget the rule of process, and things are finally getting done about it. The Milwaukee Journal-Sentinel. By the way, folks, I'm reading these to you and not editing this like I usually do, because I have found that on this platform, there's I call them the weekend crew. That's why I call them to my lovely wife, Mrs. BCP. The weekend crew here is even more brutal than the Monday through Friday crew, and they scrutinize every single clip, every single sound I put up, and it takes them 24 hours to approve my videos before I can make them public to you. So this weekend we'll be doing this old style with my just reading the articles to you, but I'm going to give you the source. This is the Milwaukee Journey Sentinel. Judge suspends debt relief program for farmers of color after conservative law firm and white farmers sue Biden. Now, if you recall, they try to sneak into the relief bill something or many things or most things that had nothing to actually do with the actual virus relief. And one of the things they did is in this huge, monstrous $1.9 trillion stimulus package, they had this anti-white farmer relief program where the aid was only available to agricultural producers who were black or are black, American Indian, Alaska Native, Hispanic, Latino, or Asian American or Pacific Islander. Pretty much anyone except if you're Caucasian. Now, folks, if you believe in equity and fairness, I know a lot of people on the left, a lot of people of my color, of my melanin shade are going to disagree with me. They're going to go, oh, it's because of old systemic racism and what have you. That's why we need these new racist laws. Well, I learned from my parents long ago that two wrongs don't make a right. You can't correct an injustice with another injustice. That's just asinine, stupid assery.
Stop counting calories if you want to lose weight fast. There's a new powerful fat loss remedy that's helping men.
But that is what the left is about, and that's what Biden did. So if there's a law that specifically, especially when it's supposed to be a relief bill for the entire country, that was crazy. If you have a certain item, you have a certain policy that specifically discriminates against a certain people, even if those people are white, well, you're going to have a problem with that legally because we're supposed to have equal access under the law. We're supposed to have equity and what have you. And that's exactly what happened here. Once again, going back to this article from the Milwaukee Journal Sentinel, a federal judge halted payments for a loan forgiveness program that provides relief to agricultural producers of color. A temporary restraining order was handed down late this last week by Judge William Greisbach of Wisconsin's Eastern District in response to a lawsuit filed by the conservative Wisconsin Institute for Law and Liberty in April. The group alleging that the Biden administration used an unconstitutional program in an effort to end systemic racism and should make the relief available to white farmers too. Quote, the court recognized that the federal government's plan to condition and allocate benefits on the basis of race gave constitutional concerns and threatens our clients with irreparable harm, says Rick Essenberg, president and general counsel for this. It's called WILL, Wisconsin Institute for Law and Liberty in April. By the way, I'm going to be in Wisconsin in the month of August. Let me know if my folks in the Appleton, Green Bay area would like to do a meetup. It'll be somewhere in the latter half of August. Just let me know down below if you're a Wisconsin patriot in that area. The Biden administration is radically undermining bedrock principles of equality under the law. So the group is representing 12 farmers, 2 of them who live in Wisconsin. And this is specifically for check this guy out. This is farmer Adam Faust, who farms with both legs amputated after being born with spina bifida. And then Christopher Baird, who owns a dairy farm somewhere in Wisconsin. Faust said at the time the lawsuit was filed that the economic impact didn't hurt any one race more than another in agriculture. There should absolutely be no federal dollars going anywhere just based on race. Folks, I want to hear your thoughts down below. Is there such thing as reverse racism, or is racism? Interesting to see. So anyway, that relief program, debt relief program, is being suspended. Is currently being suspended as unconstitutional. As more things develop on this, I will keep you informed. But I'm very curious to see what you folks think about it. I know, obviously, if you're on this channel, you may think like me, or you may think differently. Hey, that's not a problem. I want to address something really quick. I've seen a couple comments when I disagree with President Trump. People like, oh, you don't support Trump. Folks, we can disagree. Let's be big. Put your big boy pants on. Put your big girl panties on. we can disagree. We don't have to agree on 100% of the stuff. I've said it once and I'll say it again. I'll probably say it again in the future. There's no one on this planet that I love and adore more than my wife, who I've now been married to for more than half my life. And we disagree daily on stupid little things and on big things. Doesn't mean I don't love her. Doesn't mean I'm unfaithful to her. It just means that we are two human beings and we disagree. And you can disagree with me and put it down below, and that's okay. Actually, I don't like to live in a bubble. I don't like to live in an echo chamber. If you disagree with me, tell me why. I'd be interested to see. I just think that racism is racism and bigotry is bigotry. Doesn't matter. It goes both ways. All right, so that is a blow. Now let's talk about what's going on in Texas, okay? And I played that for you. Let me play you this this segment that kind of breaks down what's going on in Texas with Greg Abbott's announcing that, hey, the federal government is screwing us over, so we're going to build our own wall. We're going to build walls here ourselves.
New at 6, Texas already has a border wall here and there stretching over 450 miles between El Paso and Brownsville. Some are new sections. Most of it involved replacing fencing that was old and dilapidated. All of it federally funded.
Well, now Governor Greg Abbott has said that he wants the state of Texas to build its own wall in response to the record influx of migrants at the border.
Now, where did this take place? This all took place on Thursday at the Emergency Border Security Summit in Del Rio. And what he was pretty much saying is, look, the regime of the former Vice President Joe Biden and the former Senator Kamala Harris is an absolute failure. And we must take matters into our own hands because the federal government is not.
Talk to home investors, the We Buy Ugly Houses people, about selling your house, and you could get a firm
doing it. So he announced the state's plan to combat this crisis by securing their republic, the Republic of Texas, the state of Texas, by building their own wall. And we're going to get a lot more information about that in the coming week or so.
What's known so far about the governor's plan?
I will announce next week the plan for the state of Texas to begin building the border wall in the state of Texas.
Support for it was resounding in Del Rio, given the influx of migrants the community has been seeing. Still unknown is whether a Texas wall would pick up where President Trump's wall ended. President Biden halted construction soon after he took office.
So yeah, walls work, but we have TDS so bad, and we're such globalists that want porous borders. We're going to halt a very successful program. And then, what did the regime of the former Vice President Joe do? They blamed it on Trump, saying, "Well, we just got in here. This is because of Trump." Yeah, like you didn't just stop halting the construction of the wall. Absolutely maddening.
Where it would go, how much it would cost, or how it would be paid for could be what Governor Abbott will announce next. What puzzles at least one lawmaker is why the governor didn't bring it up when the legislature was still in session.
So,
by the way, the legislature was still in session. Texas is very different in that their legislatures do not meet very often. They're supposed to actually be working for their constituents, and then they come in and they conduct business. I believe they're done for the year. Correct me if I'm wrong in Texas. So it's a big deal that Greg Abbott didn't bring this up during the time of when the legislation was in session. There's a lot of things that they didn't get to during this legislative session. Perhaps that's why Greg Abbott didn't bring it up. Perhaps he's got another plan. Once again, we're going to get more information this week. But it is a valid concern or complaint. Why did he bring this up, or at least address it or give a heads up to the legislators? Is he going to want to do this without legislative assistance? He's going to do this by executive order. These are all things that Texans really should want to know. And looks like Greg Abbott, he's been very clear, this coming week is going to announce and give more information on that.
Well, this was something that was top of mind for Governor Abbott. I would have hoped that we would have had a chance to discuss it when the legislature's in town so that we can obviously weigh in.
And of course, that was a Democrat legislator there in Texas. So we're going to get more information on this. We're going to get more information on this. But guess what? I want to end with this. I want to keep these segments shorter than usual. This Saturday in downtown DC, the border czar was too busy at a pride parade to actually go to the border. She's sitting there laughing and gallivanting and cackling with the second gentleman, her husband, Mr. Emhoff, excuse me. And she's walking around and, you know, surrounded by people and laughing and you know, doing her photo ops. And in DC, which of course is one of not just DC, the bubble for the Fed, but even the District of Columbia, the city itself, is pretty far left. At least the leaders are. But guess what? There were people there, DC folks, it looks like, that had some very poignant questions to ask the former senator, the same questions that you and I would like her to answer. When are you going to the border? People are yelling, when are you going to the border? And immediately the police and Secret Service start pushing people back. Heaven forbid that you would hold politicians, Democrat politicians, to account for their bad policies and for their lack of action. A border czar that doesn't go to the border. This must be 2021, and we must be under the, how do I put this so that this platform doesn't get upset about it? This is what happens when you have the former vice president and the former senator up at the top of the headline ticket at the executive branch. We'll have more reports for you over the weekend. Hang tight. Please hit that like button if you like this.
All right. So, you know, I love his episodes too. They're a little more lengthy, but they're worth it, you know. And he exposes the hypocrites that are currently the regime of Biden, the Biden administration, you know. He exposes that, and that's what our job is. Coming up next on our next segment, we're going to be talking about the ACLJ. We're going to be sharing some of their videos, and they're going to be sharing videos on what's going on and what happened with Ilhan Omar, Democrat from, I believe it's Minnesota and Missouri. I'll look it up. I'm so sorry. You know, now is the time that we're learning everything. Like all of a sudden now we're learning about, you know, counties and different states and laws and the Constitution, you know, like brushing up on things that we should have been tip top on all along. Anyway, that's okay. It's not too late because God is in control. I'll see you next time.